journalistic trick from the heart of the city to the outskirts world. She captures the world like a camera doll. Word on the street, justice in the air, bringing you the truth with the Caribbean flair. Celebrities and community, big stories and small. Word brings it light so you don't feel the fall. Calling the storm with that urban kick. She's got style and grace like a journalistic trick from the heart of the city to the outskirts wild. She captures the world like a camera dial. Word on the street, justice in the air, bringing you the truth with the Caribbean flair. Celebrities and community, big stories and small. Word brings it light so you don't feel the fall. She paints a shade that on black or white. In the ink of her stories, there's always some light. No matter where you are, you'll hear her call, echoing the truth, standing tall. Word on the street, justice in the air, bringing you the truth with the Caribbean flair. Celebrities and community, big stories and small. Word brings it light so you don't feel the fall. Welcome back to Theodicy Podcast with your girl Bird, of course, and the First Lady OG. I know she'll be in the building if she's not in the building, but if you are, I'm moving so fast, got to pick up Zoe for a certain time, which is by like 2:45 or whatnot. Long story short, y'all, I just wanted to drop in. Can you really be friends with your ex? That is the title, and this is another segment of Turn the Pages, y'all. All right. So y'all already know what's good, family. What's good, what's good, what's good. Shout out to all of my subscribers, my bush watchers, the replay gang. And last but not least, my beautiful moderator, shout out pages, which was yesterday. And that was me doing a test run, seeing how I feel about the segment. I'm actually feeling really good about it. So I figured I would continue with it. So with that being said, and to those who will be coming in, you guys will also be family. The link is your opinion. You are welcome to come up and voice your opinion. Excuse me, guys. But anyhow, yes, what's good, family? Welcome back to Theodicy Podcast. And right here is Turn the Pages, where we talk real life, real love, and the lessons that help us move forward, y'all. Now, today we're turning the page on one of the common and complicated questions in relationships. Okay. Hey, Sonia. Hey. That's another beautiful, there go my beautiful moderator. Hey. You can go in and out. Oh, I keep going in and out. Can you guys hear me now? Sonia, let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me. But like I said, now today we're turning the pages on one of the most common and complicated questions in relationships. Can you really be friends with your ex? All right. Can you really be friends with your ex? Now, some people say that it's a sign of maturity, growth, emotional intelligence, but others, which are what we call like some of the naysayers, that's just an open door for confusion, mixed emotions, and temptation. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know. Okay? So let's get into it. Because depending on how you look at the friendship, in my opinion, it could be closure or it could be chaos. Okay? All right. Let's start here, y'all. Let's start here. When a relationship ends, for me, and this is just my thought process, when a relationship ends, for me, it doesn't always mean the connection disappears, if that makes sense. I feel like there's still history, memories, habits, and it's still like that love still lingers around. You know what I mean? So staying as friends, I don't know. Although it may seem harmless, you say, hold on, guys. I got my son asking me a question. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Yes, but tempted, but I pray. Yes, but tempted, but I pray, but a real good friend. Okay, Sonia. Okay, okay. All right. So staying friends with your ex, for me, like I said, it may seem harmless to some. I mean, I have my thoughts on it. I feel like you'll say to yourself, we don't hate each other and we could probably progress because we're just trying to be cool and we're just trying to still maintain a good, healthy relationship, which I get, but I do find it to be very, very complicated. But here's the question. Are you staying friends because it's healthy or because you're afraid to let go completely because you're so used to the environment, the person, and just like the whole indoctrination of the relationship? So I want you guys in the chat, or even if you want to leave it in the comment, if you watching the replay, I that is the question I have. If you are an individual that were to think about continuing trying to keep a healthy relationship with an ex, is it because you're staying um due to the fact that it's a healthy relationship there between you and your ex, and it may be because you guys may have a child together, or is it because you're afraid to let go completely of the situation and just feeling like if you make that decision to say, well, look, I don't want to do this shit no more, that is no more looking back. And then it's almost like I said prior before, having that lingering love feeling that's there. Sometimes friendships is really, for me, when you look at it, is just emotionally recycling the things that you've been through in the relationship. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean you're in love or you're not in love with the person anymore, but it's almost like you still crave that attention. You don't want them to you don't want them back in a unit form, but you enjoy and you like the attention that's being given while it's being given. That kind of keeps you in the moment of, limber, if that makes sense. Like you just be on a whole little, everything is just like you're on a limber, you know what I mean? And knowing to yourself, like I said, you may not even want the person back, but you also don't want anyone else to have the wrong ideal based on you saying that it's a friendship, but then you're still doing things as though you guys are in a relationship. And then some people just have the thought of, I don't want you back, but I don't want nobody else to have you. And I don't want to see you with nobody else. Like, you know what I mean? And then that's something that you really got to think about when you're choosing to say, well, and like I said, I'm not saying that all situations with being or having a friendship with an ex is toxic or it's not healthy, because there are healthy relationships out there with people understanding their dynamic and how they grew out of each other. But then, like I said, there's aspects of people that are still being connected, not wanting to be physically back in a relationship with a person, but just enjoy all that that person is able to give them, and just feeling comfortable. And comfortability, I think once you feel comfortable, ability zone, because it's like almost being fearful to try to figure out if you're willing to open a door to learn somebody else new. Now, let's be real. Not every ex, like I told y'all before, is a bad person. Some relationships, and respectfully, maybe you outgrow each other, maybe timing wasn't right. And those rare cases, I can see a friendship actually being able to work, especially like I told y'all before, especially if it's children involved. If it's a child involved or multiple children involved, if it's a business, you guys have business engagements that you guys while you guys were together, you guys came up and created a business together. Um, and it could just be like the family, you know what I mean? Like once you intertwine somebody into your family and then you know his family, he knows your family, and then both families kind of intertwine, that could also cause you to feel as though even though you may not want to be with that person, you still want to continue to engage in having that person around just because that person has no longer become a significant other no more, but more or less a part of the family and a part of your family, and you being a part of that next person's family. So I feel like it's definitely circumstantial, but even then, it takes boundaries. And I think that's what needs to be put in place. Oh no, just talk on the phone. Oh no, I just talk on the phone um for my ex. Knew him since 10th grade. Excuse me, guys. Knew him since 10th grade, but we say love ya. No, I get it. And that's like a platonic relationship. And because of the history, like Sonia is stating, that becomes family. You know what I mean? And now I can identify with that 100%. But that's the thing about it. You have to know the dynamics of the entire relationship and what was intertwined and connected. And that's why I said if it comes down to you guys having a child or multiple children together, or owning businesses where you guys partnered up together, you know what I mean? And now it's like you guys are going your separate ways. And if it could be amicable, which, like I said, some situations it can be amicable once two people have understood, like, okay, yes, you know what? We've been together for a long period of time, but we both want different things. And we still have to make it work because we have these endeavors together. And this is what keeps us binded in going further. And I can totally see that 100%. But like I said, it takes boundaries. And here's the thing about boundaries. They only work when both people honor them. And that's what you have to understand about that person that you may be dealing with. You know what I mean? And that's my honest feeling that I feel. Like, I feel like most definitely when boundaries are put into place, both parties have to be adhering to those boundaries. So once those boundaries don't get crossed, everything is still able to still be on a platonic and respectful level and still have a great communication, although you guys have a past history of being together. And the reason why this topic came up because I actually was a homegirl of mine, me and her was having a conversation, and she was saying that her significant other right now, his ex feels some type of way that they have a communication and they have a good communication, okay? And this is another thing as well because like I say, when you go into another situation after leaving someone, and although you may go into a new situation, you have to understand that that new situation that you're walking into, that person may not even understand what a healthy relationship looks like, you know what I mean, as far as being able to still have a good communication level when it comes down to being with having somebody around that you was with prior. You know, not all the time it has to be toxic, but like she said, you know, when we were in a relationship together, me and him realized that we just didn't want to do it anymore, and he was unhappy and I was unhappy, and then on top of it, she stated that she was just trying to figure out who she was, you know what I mean? And she just wanted overall a break, but their relationship never ended on bad terms. So for him and for her, I feel like the reason the connection still is there on that type of level is because of how they ended. It wasn't toxic. It wasn't, they both had an understanding that they both were just moving in two different directions. And that is what made me actually come up to actually talk about this topic right now with you guys. And so, like I was telling her last night, I said, the thing about it is boundaries. And once we understand that both parties have boundaries and those boundaries are not crossed, and you guys are stating that the relationship is strictly on a platonic level and is nothing further than that, then that level should be understood. But then also being able to say, guess what? If you're now being with you being in a new situation makes that individual uncomfortable with our relationship, then maybe we should not communicate as much, or maybe we should make it to where that next party is comfortable to understand it's platonic and it's truly a true friendship and a family situation. And that was my biggest thing. As long as boundaries are not getting crossed and both of you guys are staying in the lane of the boundaries that both of you set within the friendship, even though you guys may have had a history together, that right there determines a whole lot. If you know to yourself that you're going into a situation to where it's like I'm in a new situation, but I still am lingering around because I feel like I have unfinished business. And I feel like the only reason that I still hold on to probably speaking to my ex and hanging out or just having that rapport with my ex is because I'm still trying to figure out if it's something there that could be done, or trying to just make sure that if I don't make it with this person, I'm able to still have the lifeline to go back to the person that I truly may want. You know what I mean? And when you look at it in that type of aspect, it is so hard for you now to say that you're able to have a friendship there and it be platonic, because it's feelings, it's emotions, it's still unfinished business that is there. So for me, like I was telling her, I said, once you know for yourself that is no unfinished business there and there's no extra anything lingering emotionally wise, and you know that the relationship, according to how she presented it to me, was strictly like, them understanding that they were just going in different directions. I truly believe then it's okay to be able to still have a friendship, but when you are involving a new relationship, you still have to consider that next individual that you're involving yourself with and what they may feel with you, even still being a friend to an ex. Because people look at that in a whole different way. Don't cross the line of friends now. Exactly. Don't cross the line of friends now. And then that's where the boundaries are. You know what I'm saying? Because, but that's why I say you have to be real with yourself and know that if that's what it is, then it should not be hard for you to now be a friend that you say that you are to this individual and say that, guess what? I care about you. You are like family, but I see that this is affecting your relationship that you are in now. And I am going to gracefully bow out as your friend if this is affecting the relationship. But if you know that you both are keeping the friendship in in the back thoughts of being able to come back together, then y'all both need to be real on that end. And that's probably what's making that next party feel uncomfortable, because they could feel the energy of the connection and the way you guys probably speak to each other, or whatever have you. I really don't know. I'm just going based off of the surface of what was being told to me. But it just really opened up the topic. And it opened up the topic for me because I think that we all have been in situations like this. And I definitely think that when you've come across a situation to where you have broken up with somebody, you have to understand the only way for that friendship to be maintained is to understand that you both came to that agreement of not wanting to be in the situation no more, but still being able to communicate and still being able to have that understanding of the bond that originally was built when you guys first were together. It's just that you guys went separate directions. You know what I mean? And then knowing, if you're knowing to yourself, you may not have wanted to end the relationship and the next party ended the relationship, but then that next party still wants to hold on to you by being able to call you up and keeping that type of bond. You have to understand where you are as an individual to say, well, okay, I think that I know for myself that I still love this individual, and although this individual broke it off with me, I can allow this person to want to maintain a friendship with me because it's toxic. Period. Point blank. You know what I mean? It's just completely toxic. I have a question for you guys. If you've ever been in this situation, how do you know if you can truly be friends with an ex? For those of you that have ever been in a situation similar, know somebody that's been in this type of situation, how do you truly, for yourself, know if you can really be friends with an ex? And like I said, you could throw it in the comment box. The link is there. I'm not gonna be on for too much longer because I have to get off. I have to go and pick up my baby early today, y'all. So you already know. But I want you guys to keep that question in mind. Get your paper, write it down, drop it in the comments for me if you are gonna be watching a replay, because y'all know I got my replay gang, and of course my bush watchers. And within me even asking you the question that I just asked you, or I just want to drop a few checkpoints. First one, right? Can you see them? Can you see the person that you're saying that you're no longer with someone else and genuinely feel at peace? I'm giving y'all time. I'm giving y'all time to get that down. Again, can you see the person that you separated from with someone else genuinely and feel peace and be good in your spirit with seeing your ex with someone else? Can you talk to someone without rehashing old memories, emotions, feelings, like y'all together, y'all hanging out? Just giving y'all example, you hanging out and, oh, you remember back in the day when we was sitting underneath the bleachers? Or you remember back in the day when we used to cut school and do whoop whoop whoop? Like, can you literally sit there and rehash old memories and emotions and have no emotional tie? Can you introduce the new person that you're dealing with to your ex without hiding or feeling like you got to be fearful of the connection that you and your ex have when you now say, well, now I'm going to introduce my person to you? Now, the reason why I ask these questions, and based on how you guys choose to answer these questions, then it will let you know if you are one of these people listening to this live right now. It will let you know if you are one of those people that should be involving yourself with dealing and being able to deal with your ex on a platonic level, or are you that person that still has emotional ties to where you are unable to deal with your ex on just on not just the platonic level, because the emotional and the physical and all that extra stuff is still there. And if it's still there and you know that you guys separated, maybe because it was toxic, maybe because you guys don't even understand separation needed to happen for you guys both to grow, whatever it may look like, right? You have to ask yourself these questions just to get an idea of where you're going forward when it comes down to your placement. If you're going to say that you're going to be done with the individual, when you don't let sex get involved, and no meet and greets, keep distance, and then you might and you keep distance, then you might get weak. And Sonia, I can totally agree when it comes down to that. But that's why I say, if you're saying that you are no longer going to be involved with an individual, you have to understand on what circumstances you ended your situation altogether. And if the circumstances in which you ended the situation still gives you lingering thoughts of loving that person and the emotional feeling and rehashing the past feelings of what you guys did and how you felt when you was with that person, then you know that is no way for you to be able to continue to have or think you could even have a friendship with that individual until you are completely healed and understanding where the relationship did not work, and doing the work on yourself. You know what I'm saying? I would have peace. I would have peace if that happened. I don't hang out with them. No, right. Because I will be honest, I know people that they're your ex and you're still able to have that rapport. But like I said, that's what looks that's what I consider to be healthy, just because both parties came to the agreement that it was a mutual separation. You know what I'm saying? But if it's not that, and you as an individual know that you're holding on to a situation, so even if the person doesn't want to be with you, the mere fact that they're willing to be your friend, you're holding on to it. You maybe have to take a step back and really analyze that whole situation, just for your mind and for your sound mind overall, just to be able to just protect your heart as well, because that shit hurts. You know what I'm saying? You coming around somebody and you know you're feeling what you feel and seeing them with somebody else. And if you know to yourself and you ask yourself the question, like, can I actually see the person that I'm no longer with somebody else and be okay and be at peace? And if your heart feels broken and you feel emotional about it, then the answer is right there in front of you. Give me one moment, guys. Give me one moment. So, yes, guys, like I was saying prior before, I really do feel that you have to understand what your emotional attachments look like. So if you know that that may be an unhealthy situation because those are the attachments that you have within that relationship, then I don't think it's a healthy situation to feel as though you can actually have your friend as an ex. But like I said, if it's platonic and you both agree to go your separate ways, then I can definitely see and know that that relationship is going to be healthy because both of you understood separating was the best thing for both of you guys to do. So it no longer becomes anything that's emotional because the emotions was actually left in the relationship itself when you both came to that agreement of just saying like this is not working and we're separating. Y'all, this is a topic that I told you guys will be hitting a lot of you guys. So take your time out. Like I said, throw it in the chat, leave it in the comments. Shout outs to the subscribers, my bush watchers, my replay gang. Of course, my beautiful subscribers. Thank you so much, Sonia, for pulling up in the building. And like I said, I left some questions there, so y'all please go. Let me know what your thoughts are on this topic and how do you feel about this segment of Turn Your Page Tuesdays. Your spouse will think differently. 100%. Your spouse will definitely think differently. And like I said, when you're going into a situation and that person leaves you to then go with someone else, but then they're still trying to hang on to you, you got to question that shit too. You got to question that shit too. And the real shit about it is making sure that you heal yourself. Like, like, as women, we are naturally nurturers. We try to figure things out, and we definitely try to make sure we turn over every rock before we say, like, we're going to walk away from a situation. But when you walk away from a situation, walk away in totality. In totality. All right, family. Listen, I'm running behind. I will be back in the building. Welcome. I am the voice. Welcome in the building. You already know that's the First Lady OG. Yes, of course. I will be back in the building, y'all. I have to make a run, like I said prior before. I love you guys. This is the Odyssey Podcast with your girl Word. Of course, you know the First Lady OG in the building. She in the chat right now, y'all. I love you guys. Peace, love, and life from my family to y'all. I will be back in the building. We are going to continue where I left off when I get back. So just stay tuned for it. If you're not subscribed, please get subscribed. And shout outs to all my new subscribers. Y'all definitely been supporting me. I love you guys so, so very much. And I can't do this shit without y'all. So I love, love, love all of the support. Peace, love, and light. Like I said prior before, if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. If you don't have your notification bell on, please hit your notification bell. So every time that I go live, you will be in the building. Because I'm trying to tell y'all want to be here for every segment of Turn the Pages, okay? Because we are really about to turn it up. But I love you guys, like I said. And so until next time, peace. First Lady OG, Sonia, and all my beautiful moderators.